Hello and welcome to Channel 2S. I'm your host, Second Soundwave, and today we're going to be concluding the build of the Real Grade Build Strike Gundam. Now right now, we got the Build Strike himself here, and he is looking very cool. He's got his whole body all together here. I do really like how this looks. But this guy right here, this is just the Build Strike Gundam. And this kit, Build Strike Gundam full package. So let's build the rest of this package. Oh, and by the way, today is another one of these pre-recorded videos, so if there's any big news events, big special things that might have happened on Wednesday, you won't see me talking about them here because I'm recording this on Tuesday evening, so yeah. Although I suppose there is actually one thing I can talk about just because I kind of forgot about it in the last two videos, which was this one image that I saw that was actually pretty cool. I think it's been around for a while, I just completely forgot to mention it. It kind of got lost in the shuffle of everything else that's been announced and revealed lately, but a new image of the Master Grade Providence Gundam. Yes, I know another image of that kit. We're learning a lot about that in recent days, and apparently it's going to have this really cool looking beam effect that comes out of his arm gauntlet for like a kind of super beam saber sort of looking thing. It looks really cool actually. I always like it when they do those beam effects that are more than just like a little stick, and they have like an actual bit of a kind of sculpted sort of energy effect to them. It just looks so cool. But yeah, basically that's it for the news part of this, so I guess it's just time to finish cutting all this stuff off. Okay, I think that's all the parts I'll need. And now that I've denubbed more than my fair share of blue plastic, it's time to start putting things together. So, first we're going to take one of these two pieces, and we're going to take... Hey, guess what? I forgot a part again. Anyways, though, what you're supposed to do is take this part right here, this little landing gear, you stick it in the middle right here, and then you grab the other half of the nose cone and you drop it on just like this. So now when you drop, you can pull on this, I'm guessing it looks like, I think. I don't know, let me grab a little something to help see if I can pry it out. Here we go. Okay, that's cool. So he's got a little landing gear, that's neat. So now we take the cockpit and we stick it down here on the top, just like that. This is feeling very familiar to the build on the Master Grade version of this mobile suit. So it looks like we grab this little piece here. Come on. This just needs to go in just like this. Hey, there we go. And I got it on the right side too, although there are some pretty bad nub marks on this because I am not good at denubbing tiny parts like this. Although the other side looks a little bit better, so maybe I can go back and clean them up now that they're stuck onto a bigger part, so that should make them a little easier to grab. Now we're going to take this piece here, and come on, this piece right here, stick it in right here, and then do the same with this other piece, the intent being to make two pieces, basically a left and right version of the same thing. And what we're going to do with these is we're going to pop them in on each side of the cockpit just like this. Now these aren't really attached in very sturdily right now, As you can see, they're kind of just popping out and going all over the place. So we're going to drop this down onto here, and that should line up nicely, just like that. And now we have that little slide forward mechanism that the cockpit uses to get around the stand connector. So that is pretty cool. Next up, we are going to keep these down because I messed that up. And we're going to stick this in back here. And we're going to take this. And do I put this down before I put the vents in? I'm going to put the vents in first just to be safe. So we're going to take these two vents, and I guess they go this way, it looks like. Yeah, they do go this way, right? Yeah, they tip down. So vents go in this way. Top goes on like this. And of course there's some gray on the frame inside of here that peeks through those two little vents. Makes it look very nice. I wish these weren't solid blue, but I guess that might be how they are in the anime. I don't know. I haven't seen Build Fighters in a while. I should really go back and watch that at some point. But regardless, coming back to the build here, next thing we're going to do is take these, stick them on here with the little triangular part facing forwards. I do not like this connection much, but that's because I'm an idiot and I put it on backwards. Hey, guess what? I put them both on backwards. Okay, because that makes way more sense, because now I can fold them up like this. There we go. Wonder how many more times I'm going to mess this build up before we're done. But anyways, yellow stickers in here, or rather yellow parts. Whoa, that could have been bad. That could have been bad. So, yellow piece right here. So we got yellow, we got red, we got blue. Already way better color separation than the original high grade had. So next we're going to take this piece, and we are going to put them around the centerpiece. So we're going to do this, and we're going to do this, and we're going to very carefully clip them together. There we go, and we're going to do that again. So this piece, and this piece, like this. Nope, not like that, like this. And this piece like this. Clip them together. There we go. Now we're going to grab onto these and stick them down over the edge, and they should lock in, hopefully. This doesn't seem like it's going on right. Okay, so I'm not sure if these are mismolded or what, but for some reason one side of this piece seems to be kind of tipping downwards, and it was even more pronounced on the other part. And once you put them on, they are supposed to be lined up straight, and when you clip them on, it does sort of even them out, but it is weird that there's that much of a difference in the shape of the part when it's on the runner. Not sure if that's like a warping issue from when they took it out of the mold, or if maybe I bent it a little bit when I was trying to denub it. I'm not exactly sure what went on there, but it does kind of make it a little bit more of an issue to try to get this tabbed in properly. But anyways, once you do have it in, you just want to take, where is it? It's this piece right here, and stick it on just like this, and that completes the tip of the wing. And then you do it again like this, and you have a complete little wing. Looks very nice, looks very cool. So now we're going to take these two parts and slide them together just like this. And we're going to take these and slide them together just like this. And then we're going to take this, stick it over the back just like this. Or does it go this way? Nope, it goes on this way. Just like this. We're going to take a wing and drop it on here. This will be part of the kind of tail fins for the build booster. So we're going to stick this on here, and we're going to grab this little white piece, pop it on just like that. So as you can see, we got some pretty cool looking stuff going on here. And you can just lock this in just like that, and there's a little tab here that keeps the wing from drooping down, which is very nice. Looks like he's going to have a little bit of articulation here at the base too, because we're going to plug this on. Ooh, that could have been bad. We're going to plug this on here just like this, and there you go. There is most of the build booster. All we need to do now is build the cannons that go under here. And to make those cannons, it is pretty straightforward. You basically just take the little red handle piece and you clip it down onto this blue part and kind of rotate it in and away. Got a nice little tab right here so you can flip it up if you want them to hold them, but right now we're not going to focus on that. We're going to build the lower part of the cannon. So you take these two pieces off the J runners and you clip them down just like that. Makes a nice little cannon front. And then you want to take this piece and you take this piece and you kind of set this in here just like this. Kind of push it in a little and stick this down just like that, so it clips in there, all along. It should tab in nice and securely. And you take this little red piece, have the little clips facing down, and you stick it in just like that. And then you grab your build strike, you bring out one of these, and you just lock it in just like that, and it should fit in pretty nicely, pretty securely, and hopefully it won't pop out of place, although it does feel like a bit of a precarious connection, so I'm not 100% confident in this thing's ability to stay together, but for the time being, it seems to be holding together pretty nice. And there we have the completed build booster. So finally, it's time to build the weapons for the build strike. Now the first part of this is super difficult. We're going to have to build the stand connector. And we're done. Now we're going to build the pilot. And we're done. Okay, let's move on to the slightly more complex thing. So first up we have the beam sabers. You basically just take these two parts, you stick them together. If you want, you could stick a blade into them. I'm going to do that right now. Just stick a blade right in here. Beam saber, you could do this all day. Just stick a thing in here, stick this in here. Okay, so now that we got these beam sabers here, they're looking very cool. You can do whatever you want with them. I'm going to throw them off to the side now and focus on the gun, which is, again, super simple. You just take this piece and you stick it in here, just like that, and you grab the other half of the gun and you just stick it on like that. There you go. That's his handgun. Now of course, because this is based off of the L strike mold, you actually still get some of the parts for the strike, including those little daggers that are used to keeping the side skirts. Of course they don't attach to the new side skirts on the build strike. However, if you want to, you can still build these and just add them to the general weapons loadout of your build strike. And besides, they're cool little switchblade knives that you could give to really any of your kits if you want to. So now it's time for the hands. Again, very simple. If we want to build the trigger hand, just stick these two pieces together right here. Grab a hand back, stick it on, just like that, and there you go. Trigger hand, boom. You can take the real grade hands, do the exact same thing, stick a hand back on them, boom. Posable hand. You know what? I'm going to do it one more time just because it's so easy. Posable hand, hand back, boom. You're done. Now if you've built the Master Grade build strike, this is going to be a very familiar accessory for you that we're going to be building now, because what we're building is basically an extender for that little pistol that turns into a rifle. So first thing we're going to do is clip these together. Then we're just going to take this and stick it in. Where does it do? It goes back here, right? Yeah, it goes back here. Just stick it in, clip it down. There we go, just like that. That slides in. And we can take this, plug it on the front, and basically what you do with this is you lift this up, you push it in, and if I remember correctly, assuming this functions the same way it does on the Master Grade, you should just be able to slide this into place. However, it doesn't seem to want to go in. That's a little odd. Oh, there we go. Okay, just didn't have it lined up right. So now you can just pull this back, tab it over, and you have a more extended version of the rifle that's actually got some really cool detail on it. And here's another accessory you'll recognize from the Master Grade, and this is another extender for the handgun, but this time it's a bit of a higher caliber weapon. So what we're going to start with here is these two halves of this right here. These are going to go together, just like this, and then we're going to grab these two pieces, and how do we want these to go? It looks like you want this, and we want this, and this is going to go right here into this sliding track. And then this piece, I like this piece because we didn't have an equivalent to this piece on the Master Grade. You just had some kind of foil stickers that you'd stick in there, but nope, this is the real grade. So on the real grade, we got this piece that goes right in here, and it should just tab into place. Oh, I see how this goes. I see how this goes. Okay. So it just tabs in right here. I'm going to pop this back in here. And then I'm going to take this, stick it on right here, and look at that. Look at that awesome green right there. That is so cool. Because now I can take this, pop it on the front, and I'm going to just take this little piece right here. This goes tab forwards. Okay, and that just locks in. And the handle goes in like this. Just like that. Oh, and it's even got a little place to lock in. That's nice. And now we have another extendable piece that goes on the gun, so you can take the rifle barrel off, pull this out, lift this up, slide it down over there, slide it down on top of here, and now you have a very cool looking beam cannon. And the final build strike accessory to assemble is the shield. Now I've always kind of had mixed feelings about the build strike shield. I do like the complexity of it, but at the same time it does look a little flat on top, although it looks like for the real grade, okay, this is kind of cool. It looks like they've actually given the top of it a bit of an angle so it doesn't look quite as flat as it does in the high grade and the master grade. That is pretty cool. So looks like we're going to put this in right here, and unfortunately this whole yellow section is one piece, so the claws do not open and close like they do on the master grade. That is, I'm not going to lie, that's a little disappointing. I think that's the first thing I've seen so far that that does kind of make me miss the master grade, is the fact that the claws don't move on this. But other than that, I'd say it's actually doing a pretty admirable job of recreating the master grade and most of its functionality, so that is definitely a good thing. So it looks like we're just going to take these, kind of stick them together like this, and just stick this down here. And then this, I think, should just go here. Oh no, I know where this is going to go. I know how this is going to go together. So stand this up, you pop it onto here, so just onto those top pegs up there, and then you stick it in here just like this, and then we grab this tiny little piece, and that'll just wrap around the back like this, and that should lock everything in place. Okay, now all we have to do is take these two pieces. Oh, and by the way, these two pieces that form the tip part here, you guys might be interested to hear this, but these are molded on the runner in such a way that it looks like it'd be pretty easy for Bandai to separate off that part of the runner if they plan on making a Star Build Strike. So yeah, I think it's possible. I think it's very possible that we're getting a Star Build Strike out of this. I think that's locked in. But of course, I knocked off this little piece in the process. And I have to say, there's not a lot of friction holding this on. Okay, that time both pieces fell off, but this piece, I'm probably going to go back and glue this because it's not wanting to stay on. And this, I think it's just a matter of it not being... Yeah, this thing just needs to be plugged in all the way. But this piece, yeah, there's nothing holding this on, so that's going to need some glue. But anyway, first, we're going to take a piece that you guys are going to recognize from very early in this build, because this is the piece that I had to rip out of the waist unit, and fortunately that didn't loosen up the waist too much, but we will finally have a use for this, because this is going to plug in right here. And that piece is going to fall out again. And now we have a nice little connector that, of course, I did not denub, so allow me a moment to fix that. Okay, that moment is up, so now it's time to put the shield on the Build Strike. So it tabs in just like that, and okay, that's kind of weird. So it looks like it's not actually able to wrap completely around his arm. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to kind of finagle this around a bit and see if I can get this to stay in the hole there, because it's fighting me just a little bit. I'm going to put it on the underside of his arm for now, just to be quick and easy. So there you have it, ladies and gentlemen, the completed real grade Build Strike Gundam. Now first off, I am noticing a couple things about this kit. Number one is that his legs are a little bit loose. Not a lot loose, mind you, just a little bit. And I've actually noticed that in general with this frame is that the joints are not quite as tight as they might be on some of the later real grade releases. Also, like I mentioned just a few moments ago, this piece does not like to stay in. But for the most part, I have to say I'm pretty impressed with this kit. It's definitely a very detailed kit. Certainly looks a lot better than the high grade. And I actually have some other stuff that I want to say about it too, but I'm going to save that for the review, which will be coming out very shortly. So leave a like if you enjoyed this video and share it around, because it's a great way to help this channel grow. As I said, I'm going to be reviewing this kit very shortly, so if you don't want to miss that, I would recommend subscribing by clicking the icon you see on the screen right now. And if you don't see an icon there, maybe I forgot to put in an end card, maybe you're here early, you can also use the buttons either below or beside the video, depending on your browser. Hopefully you know the drill by now. And as always, there are thumbnails popping up along the side of the screen right here, linking to some of my other videos. You can go check those out. Just have fun. I'm Second Soundwave, and I'll see you next time.